What's going on out there, world? Little birds got my attention right there with a little distraction. Y'all know who this is. Mr. Real Talk, for those of you who don't know. I just want to take a very brief moment, keep it short, to holler at y'all about one of the kind of recent incidents. It's been open for like a year, but a few days ago they came to the conclusion. Y'all remember almost a year ago, it was a guy by the name of Philando Castillo. While y'all see I'm checking around, you know what I'm saying, watching my back, in case you haven't noticed, I'm black. You know what I'm saying? So that makes me an automatic target, okay? For all of y'all who are not fast asleep out there, y'all know what's going on. So anyway, about a year ago, it was a guy named Philando Castillo, okay? And his girlfriend was pulled over. I think that maybe for a so-called broken tail light, something small, okay? In which a lot of y'all know, police pull you over a lot of time when you're black and you're driving. That's your crime. DWB, driving while black. And if you don't agree with this, I could care less. Because me, myself, you know, just speaking from a personal experience, I've been harassed numerous times. Whether that was me driving and getting pulled over for some nonsense, or I could just been walking up the street. I can't tell you how many times I've been walking up the street and just singled out for whatever reason. Y'all know what the real reason is, though, because I'm jive big and I'm black. They say, hey, you, come here. You know, I ain't gonna even go into it no more after that, but anyway, I'm straying off topic. Philando Castillo, him and his girlfriend was pulled over, and they asked him, you know, for his ID and proof of registration or whatever. And they showed the video, you know what I'm saying? They held a lot of the video back. You know how they do. They like to do that until they can, you know, get their little lies together. They held a lot of that video back. And a few days ago, you know, they put out the whole video from all angles. And you can see what really happened. It was basically murder, you know? It was something that's very symptomatic of what's going on with so-called black people. And you know what? I'm about to let you in on a little secret that you might not know, okay? Let me look around, watch my back, check my back to make sure ain't nobody trying to get me. Look to the left, to the right. It appears as though I'm good, okay? I'm gonna let you in on a secret that you might not know. The world hates us. Okay? I'm gonna say that again. The whole entire world hates us. And you know what? That's cool. It's cool with me. And it's definitely cool with the whole entire world, or else they wouldn't hate us. And here's the proof that the whole entire world hates us, okay? Now, you got a little instances here, a few instances here, where there are a few people who will speak up. When I say the whole world, I'm talking about the majority, okay? And I don't care if you agree with this or not. The majority of the world hates so-called black people. They think you are the lowest. They think you're the one most likely to commit crime. They think you despicable, okay? And that comes out when they're policing you, okay? Let me tell you something else. See, because a lot of y'all, you never took time to think about certain things. You just go with the flow. Whatever that is, you go with it. Whatever it is, good or bad. And in this case, it's real damn bad. Because the whole world hates us, especially your oppressor. I don't even have to say who that is. I'll just say your oppressor, and you know good and damn well who I'm talking about. He hates your guts. He always has. And for any of you self-hating Negroes out there that like to lie to yourself, I'm gonna ask you this one question and see if you can answer this question without lying. Can any of you out there tell me one time in the history of this place where this place has ever loved black people? Can anybody out there tell me a time in this place where this place has actually loved and cared about black people? I'm waiting. Huh? I can't hear you. Yeah, that's what I thought. And if you come up with a time, you a lying bastard, because this place never loved us. That's why they kill you whenever they feel like it, and they say not guilty. Happens all the time. And you know why? You know why a lot of y'all not mad about that? Because you are a whore for your oppressor. You are a slut and a whore for your oppressor. You know why? Because you suffer from a few things. You suffer from Stockholm Syndrome. I don't have time to go into it right now, but look it up. You suffer from Stockholm Syndrome. You also display severe symptoms of what's called trauma bonding. That's when the victim is bonded to the person who's victimizing them by the trauma. They've caused so much trauma to you. That trauma created a bond. It's a sick bond, because a person has to be determined to abuse you, and the person who's getting abused has to be determined to continue to allow the abuse. So you suffer, you're displaying symptoms of a trauma bond. Okay? Look it up. Because one thing, and this is facts, the Negro in America, and I'm sure probably abroad, but definitely in America, you don't read. You don't like to read. And you know what? You know why that's nothing to be ashamed of? Because for years, for hundreds of years, it was a crime for you to read. So that was drilled into you. That's why you don't ever really care about reading. You was forced. You couldn't read for hundreds of years. It was a crime. So you got used to it. You know? So whenever somebody like me come along, you know, and bring that to your attention, it's going to be a problem. You're not going to like that, because you want to stay in that spot where you at, where you still don't want to read, still think it's okay not to read. And see, here's the big thing right here, why it's important for us to start reading, because they never intended on us to learn how to read. So they were very clever to make sure they put all the truths in the books, because they knew you'd never find out, because you were never, and I mean ever, supposed to have the ability to read and decipher. So you don't get me wrong. People do lie sometimes. You can lie in anything, in a movie, in a book, in a conversation. But for the most part, your oppressor put the truth in these history books, because that's the way they communicated with each other and keeping you on the outskirts. That's why they did not ever, and I'm watching my back, because like I said, y'all can see I'm black, so I'm a target, all right? Keeping it real. You were never supposed to learn how to read, so they had no problem putting the truth in these books, because you would never be able to read. They could sit right here and have the book in front of you wide open. They wouldn't be worried about you finding out nothing. And that's the way it was always supposed to be. So now that you actually can read, you got to start reading up on your history to see the diabolicalness of what's been happening to you. And you don't got to believe me. You don't got to listen to nothing I say. You can just keep sitting back, and we can keep getting killed by the hundreds, by the thousands, because we hate ourselves. And you know what? Your oppressor knows that you hate yourself too. And he knows that whenever he comes out and decides to take a dump all over you, he knows you're going to be by yourself. He knows your brothers and your sisters are not going to come to your aid, because they scared to death. And plus, they hate each other. We hate each other. So when we see something happening to a Negro out here, you know what I hear a lot of Negroes say? That ain't my brother. You ain't my uncle. You ain't my cousin. And that's exactly what your oppressor wants. And that's why he can kill you on camera and say not guilty. And another thing that I'm going to be up out of here. The reason why this keeps going on, this place hates your guts. And I don't know when you ignorant Negroes going to wake up and stop lying to yourself. They hate you. whenever you have another nation of people policing another nation of people, they are going to abuse you. Facts. Because all it is them abusing their prisoners of war. The black man and black woman in America, you're not citizens. You are what's called prisoners of war, so they can dog you and kill you on camera with no repercussions. Every single race and nation was given their own land. Every single race and nation had their own country. But you know who ruined that? Your so-called neighborhood-friendly oppressor. He wants everybody to come together under him, of course, so he can abuse the hell out of you. And that's what he's been doing. So that's some things for y'all to think about. Let that simmer on your brain. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And I'm out of here. Mr. Real Talk.